as we speak.
Good.
Okay, so welcome to the Rotary Club of Norfolk. We will first be led in music by our very own Chuck Spence. Chuck, can you see the music?
Yeah, but you're moving my unmute button around the screen, so
I'm sorry.
we'll begin with R-O-T-A-R-Y. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
Thank you.
R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, he profits most who serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. And the next one you don't need music or words for because it's a grand old flag. You're a grand old flag, you're a high flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. Should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chuck. We certainly appreciate it. And now, if everyone will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Bob Healy?
And will it be fun?
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. And now our invocation for Julie Kiesling. Sorry.
This morning, my husband said, I understand why bears hibernate. And that was my inspiration. There is a winter in all of our lives, a chill and a darkness that makes us yearn for days that have gone, or to put our hope in days yet to be. We need a winter in our lives, a time to rest, a time to stand still, a time to reacquaint ourselves with the enduring truths in our lives. We should take this time to grow and then rise through the darkness into the warm glow of springtime. Thank you, God, for the seasons of our lives.
Thank you, Julie. And did I see if Joe Massey was here for a visitation report? I did not see Joe. Okay, well, if we hear of anyone who needs some assistance from our club, we'll make sure we get that out to you. Introduction of guests. I have not seen any other than our speakers, and we'll be hearing from them shortly. Our school of the week this week is Ocean Air Elementary School, and today's rotation scribe is Diana Starkey. So speak clearly so that we can make sure we get an accurate record of the meeting. Today is the first meeting of February, and as is our tradition, we like to recognize birthdays and wedding and Rotary anniversaries. So let's start with birthdays, and when we're done, Chuck, can you lead us in a little round of happy birthday to our Rotarians? So we have Bill LaHoo on February 1st, Bill Eisenbach, February 8th, Kay Kemper, February 13th. Fred Walker, also February 13th. Mike Richardson, February 16th. John Cameron, February 22nd. Stephen Jones, February 22nd. And Rick Karate, February 24th. Take it away, Chuck.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you, and congratulations to all of our birthday Rotarians. And as also is our tradition, you have the choice of either contributing $5 for Happy Bucks or as many dollars as you have years. The choice is yours. Thank you very much. We also have some wedding anniversaries to celebrate. We have Brian and Kira McGuire celebrating 2 years today. Congratulations. We have Ann Sullivan and Stephen celebrating 37 years on February 18th. And we have Steve and Wanda Jones celebrating 65 years on February 29th. So congratulations to them all. And do we know if we're leaving anyone out? Feel free to chime in.
I'm so sorry, Jim, this is Marty.
Yeah.
When you asked her, Joe wasn't here, my brain wasn't together, but I heard from Ann Sullivan, just reminded me yesterday, and her daughter, Bryn, is in the hospital in DC with some really bad lung issues. It's not COVID that I know of, and I don't know much, but we need to sort of keep that family in our thoughts and prayers.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate
Sure.
it. We have a couple of Rotary anniversaries. We're going to start with the biggie first. We have Joe New celebrating 46 years. We have Collins Gooch celebrating 19 years. We have Bernie Cohen celebrating 11 years this month. Marilyn Goen celebrating 4 years, and Bob Batcher, a relatively newbie, but has certainly had a great impact, is celebrating his first year anniversary as a Rotarian. So thank you all for your dedication to Rotary. Moving right along, we have a wonderful event to commemorate and also be grateful for. Sigur, would you mind presenting a Paul Harris Fellow in our midst?
I would be delighted to. This person we all know and love, a former president of the club, and her passion and the reason she got into Rotary is because of polio. And so I'm delighted to present to our Pam Tubbs a Paul Harris Fellow +8. Her passion is unrivaled. And thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you, Sigur, and thank you, Pam. That is that shows incredible dedication, to the cause of Rotary, and especially the cause that Rotary has adopted for decades now of eradicating polio. Anything, Pam, you'd like to say?
President Jim, thank you very much. And past President Sigur, it is a great honor to wear this. And it's so easy. If you just set up an automatic thing through your bank or credit union or whatever, it's just so easy. If you just set it up and forget it, and your care for what Rotary does around the world, and for me, especially for polio eradication, is just automatically supported. So I would that everybody does this, especially if you can set it up like I have. If you give $100 a month, you automatically are, you become a Paul Harris Fellow sustaining. So it's a great thing to do, and I strongly encourage you all to do that.
Thank you, Pam. Appreciate it. So I just wanted to also let the club know that we had about 11 folks out on Friday at the Lafayette Park. We did a cleanup in conjunction with Keep Norfolk Beautiful. It was freezing, but as Kelly Stefanko said, it was great just being out there and seeing some fellow Rotarians rather than just seeing everyone on Zoom. So I thank all of those who were out there, and also want to give Walt a chance to let us know about the next service opportunity we have coming up later this month.
Well, thank you, President Jim. On the 11th of February, we are going back to the food bank at 9 a.m. till noon. I'm going to pack probably boxes or packets for school children to be delivered when they pick up materials at their school. So both of those are great things to support. The food bank's been having problems because of COVID. Every time we've gone there, there has been less than a 15 desired number of folks. So if you have some free time on the 11th, please join us. And that's I think that's a Friday. I take that back. It's a Thursday morning. So it's a work day. So if you want to do some community service instead of working at your desk or at your homes, please come join us. And then I'm going to try to do something with the Salvation Army on the 24th of this month, or the 23rd of this month. They're having problems getting people to do food distribution. So I'm going to try to talk to them and take over one of their shifts for later in the month in place of our Tuesday meeting. And that's all I have, Jim.
Okay, thank you, Walt, and thanks for the great work you've been doing this year. We really appreciate it. Wanted to also let members know that our next board meeting is next Monday at 4:30. Especially mentioning this because we have a couple of new members, and I know that one of the things that helps you get from being a red badge member to a blue badge member is to attend a board meeting. So if anyone has an interest, please just either give me a call or shoot me an email, and I will make sure that you get an invitation to that. Also wanted to let everyone know that with Sigur's help and I believe Bill's help, we now one of the things that's on our website is a video of our previous meeting. So you can expect that to be an ongoing feature, so that if you missed the meeting but wanted to see what was going on, you will have, there's a link there that'll take you, Sigur, I think right to the YouTube site. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. It'll take you right to the YouTube site. And also in the president's letter, I think I've begun, putting that there, saying here you can click also. So we just want to make sure it is available. Fines and happy bucks. Who's got some good news to share?
Hey Jim, I got some happy bucks to celebrate my wedding anniversary of 2 years today.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. Michael, who spoke? Sally, what do you got?
I have happy bucks for Dr. Turner being one of our speakers today, because she was my son Luke's 6th grade math teacher at Blair. And so we have very good memories of that. And I also have money for our son Luke, because he was furloughed in March from his Los Angeles talent agency job because there were no live events to book. Mm-hmm. So he's ended up, after a lot of soul searching, living in Salt Lake City and working for a company there that actually places outsourced chief financial officers. So things have worked out, and he's enjoying snowboarding and hiking.
When I start this.
So anyway, but I thought Dr. Turner would like to know he's doing something with math.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you for sharing. Michael Desplaines.
I've got happy bucks. We just returned from 2 weeks in the Caribbean. So the lesson is get your shots or get COVID, and then you're okay to travel. I received the latter.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. Julie Kiesling, thanks, Michael.
I have happy bucks because I have some new wheels.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And
So,
for those who are new, it costs you $5 a wheel, and that includes a steering wheel. So I will be sending Norfolk Rotary Charities my $25, and I'm very happy.
thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. Chris Bug. Chris.
Happy bucks for a couple of things. New job working at Decisions down in Chesapeake. Y'all probably never heard of them because we don't do any business locally, but we help our clients automate their most complex, painful processes. Actually, we help them do it themselves with software. So I've got happy bucks for that. Also got happy bucks because I don't know whoever's at I was at the food bank with last time. I was in a lot of pain and I had a successful injection down at Duke in my back yesterday morning, and I'm already feeling better. So happy about that. So looking forward to paying up.
That's great to hear. Great to hear. And anyone else?
I do. Saturday night while I was at Scope getting my vaccine, my Virginia Tech Hokies were in another arena a little further west, beating the number 8 UVA team. And so I'm going to contribute $8.
Well, I'm sure there are lots of happy Hokies and lots of very sad Wahoos. So thank you, Joe. Anyone else?
I'll jump in real quick. I would like to give happy bucks to the 11 cold warriors who went out to do the cleanup this past weekend. I had hoped to join you, but my move is sort of rushing over me, and I find like I have more work to do at home, and I better stay put and meet my deadlines. And I'd also, I got new wheels too, unintentionally after my car was crashed, but I have new wheels, and so I'll be sending in my dollars for that too.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Well, I have some happy bucks. My parents next week will be celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. And I think that's just awesome. And so I will be contributing some happy bucks for that. And I see that Michael, are you here for round 2 of happy bucks?
Well, it's more of an announcement, President Jim. As I know that sometimes car purchases take a while. You need to think about it. And as president-elect, I just want you to know that when I become president, that there will be an extra fine tacked on if your car is not electric, because we do need to help save the planet. So be thinking about that in your car purchases. I will do a small discount for hybrid vehicles, but you will pay an extra fine if you buy one of those old-fashioned, tiny combustion engines.
All right, then. So now we all know what we're in store for.
For clarification, so if the car has a battery, would it be considered electric or hybrid or electric?
Ooh.
If it has combustion, combustion's combustion. That's your extra fine.
Ooh. All right, then. Anyone else? Anyone else have any good news they'd like to share? Well, thank you all for your generosity.
I have a quick word.
Okay, Jeff.
I get kind of happy dollars because I'm very happy that our district RILA program is advanced. I just wasn't sure if our club, we were talking about sending 2, but we have 35 signed up as of right now. And the program looks like it's going to be outstanding. And it's set for the 13th and the 14th of February. But
Jeff, I know we don't have anyone. We put out at the last meeting if someone knew of a high school age kid that you might want to sponsor. We didn't get any response. Is it too late to hop on that?
It's not too late. We have until the end of next week to get a sponsor and still get a T-shirt for the kids. But I'll talk to you about that after the meeting online.
Okay. Okay. So if anyone knows of any high school students who might like this leadership opportunity to learn about some of the tenets of leadership, you know, with the RILA program, that would be great. Just let us know.
Maybe Will King could ask at the schools, at the collegiate and stuff.
Yeah, Will, would you mind reaching out to collegiate and see if their Interact members or whatever stage they're at might be willing? You just need to unmute yourself. Will you have to unmute?
Well, I thought I did. But
No, different. Will King has to unmute.
There
you go.
I said I'd be happy to
Okay.
see what they're doing there. I was in charge of that for, I think, 3 or 4 years. So
Okay. All right. If you wouldn't mind reaching out to them, that would be outstanding.
yeah,
All right. Thank you.
will do.
Okay. What else do we have? Okay. Let's move right along. Our vice president in charge of programs is Lori Harrison, and our Rotarian of the, well, Lori Harrison, you have the floor.
Thank you. Do you see Bill? I don't see Bill Eisenbach, our Rotarian of the day. I've scrolled through my people, so I just want to make sure.
he's there. He's in disguise as somebody's iPhone. I mean, I'll find him.
I saw him a second ago.
Bill, if you're there, I'm going to introduce you. If you're not, I'm going to introduce
He's
you.
Michael Mary's iPad.
Okay.
Oh, I see him.
But he's
yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you for your help. Okay, so I am going to introduce Bill Eisenbach, who is our Rotarian of the day. Bill has been a Rotarian for 52 years. For 5 years, he was a Rotarian in the Roanoke Club and used to meet at the very, very elegant Hotel Roanoke, just like our very, very elegant scope. He enjoys the camaraderie of Rotary and participating in community service projects. And his wife says he has a very unique laugh. So we'll have to keep our ears out for that fun fact about Bill. So Bill is going to introduce our speakers today.
Okay, Bill, you just have to unmute. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
you hear
can.
me?
Yep.
Thank you, Lloyd, for that introduction. Our speaker today is Dr. Patricia Turner, and she's going to talk about the period of time of the integration of Norfolk Public Schools, 1958, 1959. And as some of you, like Chuck Spence and others know, we were very much involved in that. I was a rising sophomore at Maury High School when the schools were closed. My parents, along with the parents of George Heilig and George Christie, decided that a year at military school wouldn't hurt these boys a bit. We weren't part of that decision, but it ended up being a good experience for me. Dr. Turner is a true civil rights pioneer. She was honored by the Hampton Roads Black Caucus for her journey. She was one of the Norfolk 17 that broke the color barrier in Norfolk schools in 1959 with her brother, James Skip Turner, who was also one of the Norfolk 17. Patricia was in the 8th grade, Skip was in the 7th grade, the same class as Randy Wright. They were friends at the time when it was frowned upon. As time went on, they became close-knit. As Patricia pointed out multiple times, they adopted one another. When Skip passed away some 15 years ago, Patricia asked Randy to come to her church to honor Skip. She told the congregation that she thanked God for Skip, and then stated, "Thank you, God, for giving me another brother." She asked Randy to step up on the stage saying, "Welcome, my blue-eyed brother and Skip's brother, the Honorable Randy Wright." They have been brother and sister for 50 years. and have an absolute brother and sister relationship and share their joint brother in heaven. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Patricia Turner.
I'm so sorry that no one can hear me. Randy, you'll have to.
Wait a minute. Uh-oh. She called me on her phone and it's an echo there. Somehow something got, so she said she's can't get off of being muted. I don't know if y'all can hear me now or not.
We can hear you, Randy.
Okay. Let's try and get her again. Let me see. Okay.
Randy, the reason you're getting the feedback is because you've got the sound coming through the phone and you also have it coming through your speaker from Zoom. So you need
Yeah,
to
I know. I'm just trying to, let's just try this real quick.
Okay.
Patricia,
Okay.
speak, Patricia.
Okay. It is truly an honor to be asked by the Rotary Club and my brother to be here today. And I'm so sorry that the computers are acting crazy. But Randy and I met through Skip. Well, he and Skip were friends, but during that time, it was very, very hard for the 17. But I cannot speak for 15 other people. I speak for Skip because he's my brother and he's in heaven. But we had different experiences. Not only was it different being a Black girl, it was different being a Black boy. So I can tell you my story. When I entered into Northview Middle, 8th grade alone, it was a horrible experience. But not only in Northview, it was horrible in the neighborhood. As I borrow words from Andrew Heidelberg, we were everything but a child of God during the day and everything, including a child of God at night. And I don't want to use the words of long ago, but I've been called everything from Charlie Brown to Tar Baby to some words that we pray we never use again. I was told that I wasn't good enough when I was passing 10th grade tests. I was told, which is still true today, I couldn't sing, which I still can't sing, but I played clarinet in the band at Ruffner Junior High for one of the toughest band directors in this area. But when I got to Northview, they said I couldn't play an instrument. I've always been gifted in math, but I wasn't good enough to be in honors classes, even though I was there. I was shown Africans dancing on the screens in history every day. But I was told, don't worry about that. You're of light complexion. You'll just be the master's foot warmer. And a child who had just turned 14 years old, these things were horrible. But that was in the white neighborhood. And they were taught to hate me. And I had to change that, which I did by my grades, by my friendliness, by my openness, by my love of all people. In my neighborhood, I had to change that I was not a white girl or a traitor, which I'm still called today. But God, isn't he wonderful? He can make everything right because he gave me Randy. Even though I lost Skip, I gained Randy.
Amen. You want me to chime in now, Patricia?
Yes, because I can't hear what's being said now.
Oh, they haven't been saying anything. Everybody's been listening to you.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to chime in that, you know, Skip and I were friends from from the 8th grade. Actually, the back half of the 7th grade, second semester, caught me at the earliest stage. And so when the schools reopened in January of 1959, that's when I first met him, obviously, and I'll never forget Patricia holding Skip's hands all the way to school. I mean, literally all the way into the entry, and it was lined up, and you know there was a lot of people there. They were spitting at her, they were cursing, and it was just a travesty. And I thought, well, somewhere along the way, I got to try to get to know this guy. And Skip and I became friends, and it lasted the rest of his life and to mine, to the extent that I want to tell the story. I've said this on several occasions, but when I first got elected to Norfolk City Council, one of the first calls that I got was from Skip, and he said, I want to congratulate you, and I'm particularly proud of the fact that you're the first Norview High School graduate ever to get elected to Norfolk City Council. And so I said to him, I said, well, you know, everybody's offering advice. Have you got any for me? And he said, yes. He said, Randy, just be Randy, be yourself. And that sort of guided our friendship onto yet another level. And so I just appreciate what he did, the impact that he had on my life, and more importantly, that he gave me a sister. And that's the most important. And I got to tell you this week, 2 years ago at our Christmas party, which we have, you know, 400 and some people that come annually. I think there's 1 or 2 people on this one here today that's been to at least one of them. And so we talked about it, and I said, okay, it's the 60th anniversary of when this thing came down. It's time that we have a public conversation. And so Patricia, always wanting to look out for her younger brother, said, what do you want me to say? And I said, I just want you to speak from the heart and just tell it like it is, and the way that it came down, and that we don't pull any punches with it. And I thought she had almost every person in that hall at the bank that Sunday afternoon had tears in her eyes when she got through telling the story about how Dr. Martin Luther King had a dream that one day little black boys and white girls could go to school, or the vice versa. And so she said, you know, so we couldn't do this 60 years ago today, but she took my hand in front of everybody else and said, thank you, God, that I have a brother, and thank you that we can actually hold hands today that we couldn't do 60 years ago. And I think that sort of just was spellbound, that really presented the relationship and how we maintained it for 60 years. And I love her. She really is my sister. So, but we'll take any questions that anybody has.
Randy, what was the hardest part about having an interracial friendship?
Well, it was because of that time. I think we're getting feedback here now. Wait a minute. Yeah. Does that help? Okay. Well, it wasn't easy. I don't know how I can. It does pretty good when we're just speaking. I'm trying to get this thing right.
Is it?
I don't know. Have you tried to get back on, Patricia?
Yes. I'm trying to.
As the echo's coming from your phone.
Okay.
How about if you mute, maybe if you mute yours when I'm talking and vice versa.
Right.
Okay, just mute yours. All right, there we go. There we go. Now we got it. Now she can hear me. So, all right, answer your question. You know, nothing was ever easy, you know, but Skip and I had a relationship that went all the way through high school and all the way through graduation. And then periodically, one or the other would call the other one and check and see where he was at, what he was doing, and vice versa. And so it was an incredible honor for her to call me and say, you know, you need to come over here to my church. And it's kind of funny because I always say that, you know, it's not like, I don't get advice. I get orders from my big sister that says, and you got to be here. So, okay, I'll be there. And so it's been that kind of a thing. And it's been a blessing in my life.
And I wouldn't trade Randy for nothing. So no money in the world can buy my Randy.
Randy and Dr. Turner, this is Bob Batcher, and I've had the pleasure of talking and working with both of you. It's easier just to kind of go along. I mean, having a friend who happens to be a different race is easy if you keep it between the two of you. But both of you guys took a gamble and kind of said, we're going to speak up and we're going to serve publicly. That takes guts, right? So why? Wouldn't it have been easier just to sit back and kind of let the world go by?
Maybe it would have been, but what would it change in the world if we step back? It's time for the world to realize the color of the skin does not make a friend.
Anybody else?
Do we have any other questions?
Okay, Pat,
Yeah,
have
it's Marty Ray.
while they're talking.
Dr. Turner, how did you happen to become one of the Norfolk 7? What led up to that, and how did you feel about that?
Okay, when it first started, I was only like 12 years old, and the NACP had gone around to some of the homes to ask children if they would like to be involved, but they didn't come to our house because my dad was military, and they had rules that either we wouldn't be here, but dad would be transferred, or we weren't smart enough, which my mom, see, they didn't know my mom. My mom said, oh no, my children are as smart as anyone else. So when she found out that children could be signed up to walk to school, she took Skip and I down because my other brothers and sisters were too young. Some of them weren't even in school. And I had one that wasn't even born yet. And of course we passed. The judge called names by test scores, and Skip and I were number 3 and 4, even though we were going into some of the lowest grades. Then we had to go to psychiatrists. We had to be interviewed by the school board. It was rough just to walk to school. Randy, am I still being heard?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much loud and clear. It is truly amazing the courage that you showed, Dr. Turner, really.
Thank you, but it really wasn't my character, it was my mom. And I lost my mom in November of 2020. She was 100 years old and a strong lady.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Lori.
Was it hard, like, until you graduated? I mean, I didn't grow up around here, so I don't really know that much about this story, but I can't, it's a hard story to listen to because you can't imagine that people were that mean. But how long did it last? I mean, did it last until you graduated, or did things get better?
It's still lasting. I'm still called a traitor by my own race. I'm still mocked and snickered at by the white race. So I can say that things are not over. I still cannot breathe.
I have a question. Dr. Turner, I've heard you talk before about making peace with your Norview classmates and getting to know each other. Can you talk about that?
The president of my class is Jerry Collier, who owns Freemason Abbey. And I'm telling you, the food is good, so try it out. But my classmates have taken me to Nags Head, somewhere I had never gone before. And we stayed in one of Jerry's beautiful big homes. They treat me like I'm a queen. They even gave me my own prom because I couldn't come to the prom at the time. It's just totally different. They apologized to me for something that I remember the incident, but I don't remember who. And I don't want to remember who. It's totally different. When I'm with my classmates now, I know I'm part of the class. I work on all the reunions. It's just totally different. I feel like I belong somewhere.
And can you talk a little bit about your field hockey when you were in high school?
Oh, yes, I played, I played right wing, and I was good. But the other schools that we played against would not play if I came, so I didn't go to any games. But when my team won, and they gave me a trophy also, because I was a part of the team, I just couldn't play.
You know, it wasn't until a little under 2 years ago that the Norfolk School Board actually honored Dr. Turner and the other Norfolk 17. And Dr. Turner wrote a book. And you want to tell them about the book? Because the Cosmo Club.
Title,
yeah.
Today I met a rainbow. And the reason it is titled that is because I taught for over 20 some years. And on my good days as a teacher, they were a beautiful rainbow. And on those stormy days, I just held on that the rainbow was coming. But basically, it is written for children, but it's a historical children's book. And it's on Amazon and all over the internet. So I think, and of course I would think that way, everyone should get the book, at least for the children, to help them understand, as I said before, the color of the skin does not make a friend.
So we made sure that each one of the school libraries got a copy of her book. It was, so we bought like 100 of them. Was really pleased that tied into them finally, after 60 years, to acknowledge what their contribution there as in the Norfolk 17 was, and what it meant to the outside world as far as our city goes.
Randy,
For you.
Oh, hey.
Norfolk couldn't find the Norfolk 17 to give us honors before they did. When I taught for 20 some years, Patricia White taught for over 40 years. Dolores Johnson Brown taught for over 30 years in Norfolk Public Schools, but they couldn't find us for years. I wonder how hard they were looking, but at least they finally found us.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
Randy, I'm fine. It's so good to see you, and I apologize for tuning in late. In light of the discussion regarding schools, the article that's being published in the Virginian Pilot talks about long-term issues with housing patterns and systematic discrimination, and particularly the impact its head on the school district. What are your thoughts? I mean, you were instrumental for many, many years in shaping policy at the council level, and I worked with you for those years when I served as superintendent.
Yeah.
As you reflect back on what Virginia did and what Norfolk attempted to do in terms of housing patterns and redlining, what do you think about that now in light of what we're experiencing with our schools?
Well, speaking for myself, you know, I always felt that school children needed to go to the school the closest to them without regard to race, creed, gender, or anything else. And, you know, when we had the forced busing per se, you know, the kids would, unlike, I didn't have any qualms about sitting would skip occasionally at lunch or whatever else. Okay. But you can't force it on. So it was the thing about, I think Norfolk got ahead of the curve in a lot of ways. I think that the way that all of this gerrymandering was done, you know, before I got on city council, I was on a planning commission for 12 years. And during that time, you know, I was pretty instrumental in Liberty Park becoming a project of note, where mostly it was African Americans that were moving in there, and instead of reproducing the same problems that were there to start with, you know, the Foundation Park and over in Liberty Park, and you know, so we had what the problem was with the busing was we had kids that lived in Roseville Gardens that were bused all the way across town over to Campostella. And, you know, and so once we got that, and look at how our grades picked up. Steve, you were there when we got the Eli Broad Award. And you know, and so we had my all-time favorite principal as from council was Sharon Birdsong. To this day, I mean, I talked to her fairly regularly. You know, and she was the principal, and she was principal of the year nationwide. And, you know, and so that acceptance was there that wasn't there before. So you see what I mean? So there was like an invisible wall that was getting broken down little by little as time went on. And you know, I never looked at a person on the side of the color, especially with Dr. Birdsong. I was over there constantly at Azalea. You remember part of that. I participated in her.
You got that air conditioning unit in there had it not been for you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We had a new a roof put on there too.
Exactly. I can recall.
Yeah, because I was hitting hard. Listen, this is my middle school. But you know what? There was a lot of other times too, you know, that people don't know. I went over to over there on Princess Anne Road when, oh gosh, what was this? Trying to remember his last name. Herman Clark.
Herman Clark. Yeah.
Okay. So he had Bowling Park Elementary, and he had done some great things. I went over there a lot. Nobody ever said anything. Nobody even knew it, you know. But I was there. Gosh, I must have been over there 25 or 30 times. I loved what he was doing because what he was doing was so different. For those of you that don't know that, but they had barbers come in. They had seamsters coming in. What they did was they gave the children a chance. They looked at if you feel better about yourself, you're going to feel better about what you're doing. And it was just so there was a lot of different things that I got into with the Black community that people don't know about. That was, and I know when I was at a church, I think it was called The Last Word, Patricia, when you and I were there just a little over a year ago as guests, and the pastor said, I knew all about Dr. Turner's story, but I didn't know about you, Councilman Wright. And I said, well, but God knew. And he said, did y'all hear what he said? He said, I hadn't heard about it, but God knew about it. And that's all that counted, you know? And so that's kind of where I'd rest my case.
Thank you.
Dr. Turner, tell us about a time that you and Randy disagreed.
We are and sisters, so we disagree all the time. But Arlene is our referee.
That's my wife.
Okay. We really don't have true disagreements. We act as if what we are, brother and sister. And of course, in brother and sister relationships, there are rainy days and there are sunshiny days. We don't disagree.
Yeah, my wife has sang at her church on numerous occasions.
Any other questions for our guests?
This is Lorna. Dr. Turner, you know, that was a very tough experience. Tell me about when you went home after school. How did your mother handle it?
Sorry, when I did what?
Did you hear what I said, Randy? When she went home after school, how did her mother support? Did her mother know all the tough things she was going through, and how did she support that? How did she support Dr. Turner?
Okay, Skip and I, my brother, Mom was a very religious lady, and she prayed a lot. But as she informed us, we were not doing it for us, but for the future. So through prayer and her belief in God.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, Dr. Turner and Randy, thank you very much for joining us. This was a wonderful experience for our club, and thank you. It was a very
Jim,
meaningful.
Can I say something?
Yes, Baranu, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to both of you, Dr. Turner, Randy. I came to the United States after you guys paid all the bills for me. I have been at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, of course, for 35 years as a professor. I just want both of you to know, I'm a Christian. If I go to heaven, the way was paid by the blood of Jesus Christ. My life in America, the way I live, the way I have conducted my profession has been paid by people like Dr. Turner, by her brother, who is also my brother, Randy. Remember, one of the people who died on our behalf, Black people, in Mississippi was also a white man. And I always keep that in my mind. And I thank you.
Yes.
By the way, one of the churches we visited a year and a half or so ago was Chuck Spence's church.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much. Lori, go ahead.
Barbara was asking in the chat if we could have the title of the book again, and just remind us what ages it's for and where we can get it, please.
Okay, you can get it anywhere on the internet, and it's titled Today I Met a Rainbow. It's really for all ages, but it has pictures that children like to see, but it is for all ages because it's a history book.
It's actually not available other than in Kindle right now on Amazon.
No, it's available. It's available for everything. Author House is the publisher, and Barnes and Noble. I've been told Barnes and Noble has the book, or they'll order it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as is our tradition, our club, because we are big believers in childhood literacy, to commemorate Randy and Dr. Turner, your visit with us today, we will be donating a book to our School of the Week, which was Ocean Air Elementary. So when we're all finally able to visit schools again, feel free to stop by their library and you'll find a book there in your honor. So thank you very much for joining us. One thing I just want to do before we adjourn, Michael Desplaines has some really good news about our grant application. Michael.
So just to let the club know, the Charities Committee has gotten together the grant application for this year. It's very simple, 2 pages, all electronic. So it's a Word document that anyone at any charity can fill out. They'll email them back to me. They're due end of the month. And then the committee will get together and decide how best to give out our charities money. President Jim, will you email it out to the whole club?
Yeah, I'll actually do that tonight. So I don't like to inundate you guys with emails, but I'll shoot you an email tonight that has a copy of the grant application. And I encourage you to distribute that to any 501c3 organization, you know, that you deem worthy. So overwhelm us with choices. That would be great.
President Jim, thank you.
Okay. Our next meeting, we're going to be meeting next Tuesday, February 9th. Terrence Affer-Anderson will be speaking to us about illuminating the invisible man. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I appreciate everyone coming here. I especially appreciate Randy Wright and Dr. Patricia Turner joining us. And thank you very much. I appreciate it, and we are adjourned.